Welcome to Wallace on Wire. Today we're talking about Akmal's latest defense of the United Malay's National Organization Youth's approach. And let's just say it wasn't exactly subtle, no, not subtle at all. You can almost feel the frustration, can't you? The United Malay's National Organization Youth Chief, Akmal, he's really come out swinging. He's going right after online critics, specifically calling them low-class cyber troopers. It feels like more than just hitting back at, standard political noise. He seems genuinely angry about people twisting facts, spreading misinformation, especially this idea that UMNO Youth has just been silent on big national issues.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing here goes beyond just responding to trolls online. It's really about defining political identity, especially now in this digital age. It's a strategic move.
Strategic how?
Well, Akmal is trying to assert that the United Malay's National Organization Youth is, carving out its own space, making itself distinct as an organization that isn't afraid to speak the truth, no matter what the fallout might be.
Right.
They're fighting back against what's maybe the worst thing you can accuse a political group, especially a youth wing, of being irrelevant, or maybe worse, timid.
That silence accusation. Yeah, that's political poison, isn't it?
Yeah.
Particularly for youth wing. They're supposed to be the energetic ones that wants the conviction. But let's unpack that phrase he used. Low-class cyber troopers. That's quite loaded here, isn't it? What's the thinking behind using such a direct, frankly insulting term?
It's definitely a calculated risk. In our context, cyber troopers usually means someone paid, right? An operative hired to push a certain line online, not just some random person with an opinion. So by calling them low class, Akmal's trying to do, I think, two things. First, just dismiss the criticism entirely. Say, look, this isn't real concern from the public. It's just manufactured noise from, hired gun.
Delegitimize it.
Exactly. And second, it tries to elevate his own group. Like, we're above this sort of thing. We deal with real issues, not this low-level stuff. But of course, there's a risk.
Which is?
You might tick off genuine critics, people who aren't paid but just disagree, and now they feel lumped in with these cyber troopers. It could backfire by alienating people.
So the pressure's definitely on UMNO Youth, then, to prove they aren't silent. And Akmal's big piece of evidence, interestingly, isn't something local. It's international recognition. He's basically saying, how can you call us silent when media outlets outside the country are reporting on what we say? He kept stressing that simple idea. Wrong is wrong and right is right.
And that's probably the most, fascinating part of his whole counter-argument. Using foreign validation like a shield against domestic attacks. It's a classic tactic, really.
How so?
If your rivals at home say you're invisible, but you can point to, say, a reputable newspaper overseas that covered your statement, it kind of pulls the rug out from under their attack. It makes the local critics seem either out of touch, maybe provincial, or just, deliberately ignoring the facts.
And he actually named the outlet, didn't he? A Turkish one, Yeni Şafak.
Yes, that's the one.
Apparently, they reported on something he said earlier. Why that incident? And why is getting into a Turkish paper seen as such strong proof?
Well, we need to remember what that earlier statement was about. It wasn't trivial. It was UMNO Youth's very strong condemnation regarding the controversy over flying the Israeli flag.
Highly sensitive.
Extremely sensitive. Volatile, even. It connects something happening locally to a huge global issue. So when a political leader takes a really firm stand on that, it signals, conviction. It gets noticed.
And the Turkish paper itself, Yeni Şafak. Is there significance there?
There is. It's not just any paper. It's known to be pretty influential in Turkey, often reflecting the views of the government there. So when a Malaysian political group like UMNO Youth gets positive coverage in that paper, it sends a couple of signals back home. First, it suggests UMNO Youth is playing on a bigger stage than just local politics. That boosts their image, their prestige.
Right, gives them international weight.
Precisely. And second, it kind of aligns them, rhetorically at least, with major international players who might share similar views on certain geopolitical issues. This reinforces their conservative base here. Akmal is essentially saying, look, we're relevant globally, so your little local complaints about us being silent, they're just noise.
That's a powerful connection to draw, linking local action to global standing. It often gets lost in the day-to-day political arguments. But, okay, once he sort of put up that shield, we're not silent, see? He doesn't stop there. He immediately switches from defending to attacking. And this is where it gets really charged.
Yeah, he came out with a really sharp jab. He said, I'm quoting here, "We are not the cowardly leaders you worship." Wow, that's the real pivot, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It sets up the stark contrast. Now presented as internationally recognized and outspoken versus these unnamed cowardly leaders, implying they're timid and are hypocrites, maybe. It's a brilliant piece of calculated ambiguity. And strategically, it's the core of his whole message, I think. It's carefully crafted to paint the United Malays National Organization Youth as the benchmark for moral courage in today's really messy political scene.
By not naming names.
Exactly. By just saying cowardly leaders, he gets maximum impact, but avoids having to actually point fingers and face the direct consequences.
So who could he possibly be talking about?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Think about it. Could it be leaders in the current government coalition who maybe hesitated on some recent controversial issue? Could it be aimed at the opposition, maybe accusing them of picking and choosing their battles? Or, and this is interesting, could it even be aimed at rivals within the United Malays National Organization itself? People who might prefer things a bit quieter, less confrontational?
That ambiguity puts pressure on everyone, doesn't it? Any leader who's been maybe a bit quiet lately have to kind of look over their shoulder now. They either have to somehow agree with Akmal's definition of courage, or they risk being seen as one of those cowards.
It's a power move. It's like he's trying to flush out his rivals, make them show their hand. In politics today, you have to constantly perform, be visible. If you don't respond to a challenge like this, you basically hand the moral high ground over to Akmal and UMNO Youth.
So he's trying to reset the definition of political integrity to mean being outspoken, no compromises, doesn't matter who gets offended.
That seems to be the goal, making courage synonymous with confrontation.
Okay, but let's push back a little here. It sounds effective as messaging, sure, but is it practical politics? Does taking this kind of aggressive, moral high ground approach actually help win over, say, moderate voters? Or does it just risk alienating people who actually prefer stability and maybe a bit less, shouting?
That's the gamble, isn't it? It definitely shores up the base. It tells the grassroots supporters that UMNO Youth is strong, uncompromising, true to its values. That reinforces loyalty. But voters who want stability, who are tired of the constant political fighting, they might just see this as more grandstanding, more noise that doesn't actually help anything. Akmal seems to be betting that, right now, showing conviction is more valuable politically than showing, say, careful diplomacy. It shifts the whole game away from policy and onto character.
It also seems to tap into this wider trend we see everywhere, using outside validation like that Turkish newspaper mentioned to score points in domestic fights. In a world where information and misinformation spreads like wildfire online, how much does an article in Yeni Shafak really matter to someone voting in, say, Kuala Lumpur?
Probably not much. In terms of the specific name, Yeni Shafak, most voters won't know or care about that specific paper.
Right.
But the message it allows Akmal to send, that's different. The message is, we matter on the world stage. If we can handle big global issues, don't tell us we're hiding from local ones. The value isn't the publication itself, it's the ability to use it as a proof point.
So it's about crafting that narrative.
Exactly. A narrative of courage, of competence, using whatever tools you have, whether they're foreign or domestic. It shows how sophisticated political communication has become.
It really feels like Akmal is trying to carve out this very distinct, maybe even permanent identity for UMNO Youth, not just separate from the opposition, but maybe even a little bit separate from the main United Malays National Organization party itself, positioning the youth wing as the party's conscience almost.
I think that's a very good way to put it. They want to be seen as the action wing, the group with unwavering principles, standing apart from anyone, even coalition partners who might seem to be compromising or dodging difficult issues lately. They're essentially trying to make courage non-negotiable.
So Akmal is defining the United Malays National Organization Youth through this lens of confrontation, of conviction. He's daring critics and these unnamed cowardly leaders to meet their standard. It's definitely an aggressive approach, very much of this moment. And using international media as a shield? Yeah, we'll probably see more of that. It really is an attempt to reset the standard for what counts as integrity as being up front in Malaysian politics right now. The big question for you listening is maybe this. If Akmal succeeds in framing political courage this way, does it actually raise the overall standard for everyone? Or does it just fuel more aggressive, more personalized political attacks? Something to think about. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.